about your facilitators at the DLRC JEE program?
So starting with physics and maths, Sudipta sir is, I'll say, like an extremely good teacher. He has this way of explaining maths and physics concepts that make them stick in your mind for a really long time. Like there was actually a concept. I'll just take fiction for example. When he taught fiction, it fit into my mind so well that like without revision for 2 months, I could have explained fiction to you in detail. So yeah, he also he also gives us interesting problems for homework and clarifies any doubts we have in the homework problems. And overall, it's a very how do you call it? I will say it's a very good way to learn. And for chemistry, our facilitator is it's kind of a different approach for teaching. He basically breaks down concepts into small bite-sized pieces, and then introduces us to them in every lecture. And then he takes examples and problems on that. So it's kind of a slower approach, but it's still as effective.
Cool. Rabi, bolo about your facilitators.
Yes, sir. So I think there's not much to say, but they're great teachers. They teach the concepts really well. And Sudipta sir is an amazing teacher. Obviously, physics and math are very difficult subjects as it is, and he really simplifies them into diagrams, and the problems that he solves are very helpful. And Shittu sir, basically, he's really friendly. The class atmosphere is very easygoing, so you understand very well in class. And yeah, that's about it.
Shashwat, what would you like to add in?
Yeah, I'd like to say that generally the DLRC facilitators are much better than where you'll find anywhere else. And the JEE program professors are also really good. Like especially Sudipta sir, I've been studying with him for the last 3.5 years now. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and it's been a lot of understanding, and everything's been going really smoothly. And I'd also like to add on that the facilitators in DLRC, and more importantly the JEE facilitators, because the JEE discussion, have adapted much better to the online format than I've been reading from others. Like I've read that some people say that some of the facilitators are unwilling to teach online, or are finding it very difficult to get the right setup and manage to convey the thoughts, because that's what matters the most. Because when you're in a physical, I know there is more than just speaking. You can use hand actions, and you can use demonstrations to explain stuff. But online, it's only speaking and a bit of drawing. So that's one thing that's really good, that they've adapted very well to the online system. And on that, kudos to you, Pai, and the other co-founders, because you all have managed to find a really good facilitator cohort. So yeah, that's all I have to say.
Hey, that is a good point, Shashwat, and thanks for that, cute, I would say compliment. And we're all out there for you guys, and I make sure that I log in every session and check out the kind of interactions that are going on. And it's fun to see the kind of dialogues that you have with your facilitators. And sometimes, yes, I do have the opportunity to discuss some problems with you, and going down the line, yeah, I would like to steal some time and discuss those interesting problems with you guys too in the peer interactions. Advai, what would you like to add in, buddy, about the facilitators?
Shashwat covered a lot of it. Again, really, I would commend you for finding such brilliant teachers. So Datta sir's method of explaining is very similar to another teacher I had in 10th standard. And in both cases, they're like some of my favorite teachers that I have ever learned under. I'd also like to add that Sudipta sir, I know for a fact, was a teacher at DLRC too. So he does teach in that Cambridge style. So one thing I forgot to mention is I'm also aspiring to get admission in good foreign colleges. So the way he teaches physics and maths isn't just from a JEE point of view, it's from a concept point of view, which will also prepare me for foreign studies and the different format of teaching. Also, the chemistry sir gives us lots and lots of practice, which really helps in strengthening our concepts. And I'll be honest, in the first beginning of the sessions, I wasn't revising as much because I was adapting to the long school schedule and the JE class schedule. So I wasn't being able to keep up with class as much. But the second I put in little extra effort at home and revised all the concepts today, nowadays I often find myself after 8 hours of school when I'm tired and I log into my JE class, time just suddenly flies by and it's at the end of class before I know it. And I've enjoyed so much that I'm full of energy again.
Oh, awesome. I'm so glad we're having this dialogue.
Also,
Yeah,
like
bolo,
one
bolo.
thing, I'm enjoying the teachers so much that I'm feeling really bad that Sulta sir doesn't teach us at school anymore.
Ah, okay. So, yeah. So, JEE program is also about getting an edge because it is a competitive environment. And from that perspective, the next question would be on how does this give you an extra edge in this competitive examination? Of course, at DLRC, we believe that the competition is with yourself. You need to improve on what you were doing yesterday, and you need to be better than yesterday, and you need to look that you're better than today, tomorrow. But then, what is your take on what has been your experience of what edge does it give you? Otherwise, we can start with you.
The edge that it gives, one thing I would like to say is like it's a 1.5 class, so it gives us much more time for practice apart from sitting for like a 3 hour, 4 hour long session like other coaching classes. As I said earlier, the personal attention is great, so all of your doubts get clarified and you're not shy to ask or address any of the questions you have. The facilitators themselves interact with you on a one-on-one basis without any like need for us to approach them, and they will make sure that every student is learning the concepts and is able to answer the questions they ask in class. And if some particular student is not doing as well, they will give him an extra problem and tell him how to explain it and then ask him to explain further problems of the same sort. So the personal attention really gives you an edge over the rest.
Shashwat?
I think the edge that we get is this, that for out here, like to give an example, there are lots of times we're able to solve questions and all at basic levels without having to really understand the concept. But in the DLRC JEE program, the level of clarity that you understand all the concepts, it helps us work on the much more difficult problems that you would encounter in a JEE question paper. Like I have some of the past papers and I see that the level of concepts that they ask is much higher. We must have a deeper understanding of the concepts, and also the questions are kind of intertwined. So when you're applying it in the like intertwining of different concepts, and so that also you need a much higher clarity of concepts. So that's what I think I have an edge. Yeah.
Okay. How about Ravi? What edge do you think it really gives you?
Yes, sir. So as Atul mentioned, the classes are only 1.5 hours, 1.5 hours a day, which is really helpful because we don't have to slog like a machine for 3 or 6 hours like other institutes, uh, which is just a lot of time to just go back and look at the notes, just practice problems. And another thing which I really love is the IT alumni which you invite, which really motivates us because we see what they've gone through, where they've ended up, and what things they've done. So that's really motivating to study harder and inspires me at least.
Hey, thanks for mentioning that. And yeah,
Yes, sir, it's one of
definitely.
my favorite.
Yeah. Bolo, bolo.
Yes, sir, it's really wonderful. The people who come and talk.
So yeah, it's really nice that all of you do appreciate this, and why not? And I think I have seen from close quarters how IIT JEE preparation happens. In fact, my brother kind of went through that. I saw his journey, and then realized that the best way is to connect with as many of them who have gone through the journey, including our own Avni Malviya alumni at DLRC JEE program, who is at IIT Madras, and she